So summer's come round, that means we can take out the thing I don't like getting covered in salt, which means that my old Series 2 or 2A that I use in the winter now can have a few things doing to it that it needs. A slightly leaky fuel tanks coming round, and the doors are a bit knackered, so I'm going to look to get some galvanised doors with aluminium skins. There are a few bits under the bonnet we'll come back to another day, but today we're going to have a go courtesy of Tiersbeck TV giving me some pointers because they did this on their Series 3. But essentially, a slick shift. The reverse spring on my reverse gear went ping. I sort of jury rigged it a while ago, but it's got to the point where I'm going to have to get some replacement bits. And then I saw this slick shift, somebody, which shows that's the base plate for it, and then a turret on top, and the advantage of it is that it's really heavily sprung to centre on first and second, and keeps the thing feeling a lot more secure. So to get to the central tunnel you've got to take the floors out. Of course, as is always the case when I take the floors out, my banging about has shown I've got a hole in the footwell. Hey ho. I already know I've got a hole at the base of the A-pillar, and James, who looks after things for me, is going to come around the house and weld on some bits over the summer once I've taken the wings and things off. But for today, we're just going to have a go at putting the slick shift together. So I've already taken the 2 bolts out from here. Those 2 need to come out, and then the tower's going to come off. So just need to get the rest of the bolts off, and then we'll have a go at putting it on. Okay, so when you're getting the reverse spring gate off, there's these little sprung washers next to them, next to the nuts here, that need pushing out. Probably have to come over the top for it, but they need pushing out before you can get to the nut, obviously to stop it undoing itself, and then this will come off as you don't need it as part of this setup. So this is one of the reasons why I went for this slick shift, apart from it being a lot better than the standard. But this bracket, as you can see, one of the hinges had already broken off it. Clearly more it gets stressed. The other side was going to break pretty soon. In fact, it looks like somebody's repaired it in the past, unless that's its original manufacturer style. But anyway, so finding just this little bit and taking it all apart just to put that in, I figured, what the hell, put something a bit better in its place. Okay, so that panel, that sort of plate, doesn't fit. On the Tiersbeck they had to do it as well, but you can see I've had to sort of grind away so that the holes line up. Now they're not even the same left and right, so presumably they were just drilled for this particular casing. And then tapped, so beware, this is not going to just pop on and fit. So that's the base plate in. I just need to tighten it up, and we've just been messing with the springs. Just make sure you put the spring on the right way around. It starts off being down here, and then you flick it round left and right in stages to get it to here, and then the next stage is to put it up to the top there. There's a pretty good video that comes from Slickshift or Purchase Point. Just check on Google, they'll show you a simple way of flicking the springs round. So we'll get on sticking it on. So the aim of the game here is to undo the locking nuts on either side of those two bolts and then adjust them up and down so that the springs are catching the little spikes on the side of the central column to hold the gear stick lined up with first and second. It's not difficult, you just keep fiddling away until it feels about right. I had them so that there was a little bit of spring pressure on both sides at all times at the end to stop any rattling. So the grub screws go in the side with a bit of Loctite on to keep them in. You really need to tighten them up really firmly to avoid that gear stick rotating in the socket. Okay, these are the 4 holes you need to drill to get the retaining plate for the gator to hold it down. Obviously it's better to do that with the gear stick not in place, so remember to do that before you use the Loctite and fix it in. Then obviously you can pick up the corners to put a self-tapping screw in each side. The kit doesn't come with those screws, so obviously you need to provide them yourself. At the front, the screws will go through not only the metal of the tower but also the back of the front of the bulkhead. So remember that when you're putting the screw in. If you put a drill hole that's too tight, you're going to struggle to force the self-tapping screw to cut through both layers of metal. So make sure you drill a hole that's big enough. So there you go, It centres on first and second when you let go, really quite strongly sprung, so there's no more fishing about trying to wonder if you're in first or just drifting into the reverse. And reverse has got a nice strong spring against it. About the only thing I've learnt is that driving it around just for the first few hundred yards around the car park by the side of the house, you've got to be careful that you're not fishing too far over into reverse because you're so used to the damn thing being so floppy. But yeah, really positive, very happy with the purchase, good idea.